What's happening, sports fans? Trent the Great up in the building, man. And I'm here to talk about one of the best fighters in the history of boxing that we lost this past weekend. And his name was Sweet Pea Whitaker. And Whitaker was one of the best defensive fighters I've ever seen, man. He was just about as good as Floyd. You know, he could stand right in front of you, and you swing at him and you miss him, and he just smile at you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was tremendous, man. Yeah, he passed this weekend, man. He got hit by a car. I'm like, damn. I haven't heard any more details about what happened. I mean, how that happened. I mean, but it's a sad situation, nonetheless. Sweet Pea, man, won Olympic gold in '84, and he won gold at the Pan American Games in 1983. So he's back-to-back gold winner. Wind up going pro in the class. I think him and Holyfield wind up going pro around the same time. So, it shows you kind of where he comes from. Along with another great, Woody Vander. He was named Fighter of the Year in 1989 and was once ranked a pound for pound best fighter in the world for like a few years straight. So dude was really good. He was a slick southpaw, and like I say, he's one of the best defensive fighters of all time. And really his two of his most notable fights was against Julio Cesar Chavez and against Oscar De La Hoya. Those were his two most glaring fights and his two most glaring losses. Cesar Chavez came in at the time at 87-0. Cesar Chavez was a bad dude. I'm talking about Cesar Chavez Sr. I don't know too much about Junior, but I know Senior was a bad boy. But he got schooled and outclassed by Sweet Pea Whitaker. This was basically like a styles make fights. Chavez was a straight ahead attacker, an assassin. Sweet Pea was like fluid and slippery. He can get in and out, make you miss, then counterpunch. We wind up having a draw. The judges saw it as a draw, and it was clear that Sweet Pea had clearly beaten Chavez. He had punched him more. He dodged and evaded a lot of his punches, but the judges, wind up robbing him and by making it a draw. Now, insiders say that the reason that was because Sweet Pea was doing so much showboating. And, a lot of judges, they don't like that. He probably rubbed people the wrong way with that. You miss, Chavez would miss, and he would smile or dance and doing all that. And Sweet Pea, some people, like in boxing, they feel like you have to be at a certain level to do that. Like Sugar Ray did it, but Sugar Ray was the top guy at the time to do it, and Sweet Pea was trying to get there. Now, like I said, it was clear that he won the fight, but also there were rumors that Don King was behind the scenes, pulling the strings and maybe pulling the purses or the wallets of some of the judges. But I don't know. That's just what sources say. His next notable fight, like I said, was against Oscar De La Hoya. He seemingly outpointed De La Hoya, and he knocked him down for the only knockdown in the fight. But the judges gave the nod to Oscar. And once again, he was, showboating, dancing, putting his hands behind his back, dropping his arms. Could that have cost him another big-time win? Maybe so. If Sweet Pea had won those two fights, I think we would be hearing more about him being regarded as best fighter of all time, or at least top 5, top 10, but he's regarded as one of the top defensive fighters of all time. He's ranked in that. But Sweet Pea was a really good boxer. He was a really good boxer. But those two notable losses kind of pushed him down a few pegs in people's eyes, and it affected him personally. You know what I'm saying? which I'll get into in a minute. But even though, you know, he won those 2 fights, he wound up coming back maybe, I think, a couple years later, and he fought a young and up-and-coming Puerto Rican named Felix Tito Trinidad. You know, hard-hitting something bitch, too, man. You know, wound up taking a beating, you know, probably his worst and his real true, his worst and most true beating for that fight. You know, so he wound up retiring a couple years later, and he had alcohol and drug issues. You know, it was known that Sweet Pea liked to play with his nose a little bit, you know, dance with that white girl, if you know what I'm saying. He got, I think it was a fight where he got caught up. He tested positive for cocaine, I think after a fight. It's like, damn, you know. So it's like, you got this guy who is gifted and was a tremendous talent. I mean, touched by the hands of God with these abilities. He didn't have the power, but he had the speed and the quickness and that, like I say, that defensive style that really frustrated fighters. But he didn't take care of himself. Like, say he took care of himself, then, you know, maybe he probably would even been better than what he is, or better regarded as what he is now. And that's crazy, because he is like some people on some people's list, he's like #1 as the best defensive fighter of all times. And he'd have took care of himself, you know, where would he have been on the offensive list? I mean, you know, it's a shame, man. And, you know, you wind up losing a guy like that. He made news a few years back. I mean, this was crazy. He kicked his mama out the house that he bought her. Say they wasn't paying taxes. You know, and he say, well, mama, I love you, but you got to go. I got bills to pay. Like, damn. I mean, Sweet Pea, I mean, that's pretty cold right there, man. But hey, I mean, it's a cold game. He obviously, you know, reports say he messed off a lot of his money and made millions, and it's a shame that it happens like that too, man. These guys are warriors. They go in here and battle for us and just put their health and lives on the line, and then when it's all said and done, so many years later, they wind up broke. I mean, it's all for nothing. You know, you starting over from scratch. It's like, and you can't fight anymore. You know, it's really sad, and it's a shame, man. But he's one of my favorite fighters, and he's somebody that definitely would be missed in the sport of boxing. You know, rest in peace, Sweet Pea Whitaker. You're up there in heaven now, showing them skills to the good Lord, man. So God bless your family, man, and God, you know, the sport's gonna miss you. So I want to drop that gem to y'all, man. This little short one. Trent the Great. It's hot out here. I'm finna jump off this boat, goddammit, and see if I can hit this water. God bless all y'all, man, and I'm Trent the Great, and I'm out. 1.